Hello and good morning. Joe Justice here, coming to you live on December 28th, 2022. We are just a few days away from the beginning of the new year. We will be starting out 2023 here very soon, and things are changing everywhere. It's exciting to see. Yesterday, we started out with a series here that we're talking about the top 10 tech trends to look forward to in 2023. This was brought to you by a Forbes article written by Bernard Marr, who is a futurist, and he gave the top 10, what he thinks are the top 10 trends to be looking forward to. Now, one of the things that I talked about yesterday was AI being everywhere. AI is one of my favorite topics. It's a very exciting topic because it's constantly changing. So I was unable to get past the first first topic yesterday because the topic was AI, and I just can't stop talking about it. So I'm not even going to touch it today, because if I do, I'll go the next hour talking about AI again. Instead, we're going to jump straight to number 2 today. First of all, I want to let you know that in the comments, I posted a link to the article so that you can take a look at the list yourself. If you want to follow up on any of it, I'm not going to read the article verbatim, but I'm going to point out to little bits and pieces of it as we go. So let's talk about number 2 in his list, which is parts of the metaverse will become real. Now, this is a pretty interesting idea. He makes a funny comment here at the beginning where he says he hates the term metaverse. By the way, I hate the term metaverse too. It's a really stupid name, and I really hope it doesn't stick. So the whole idea with the metaverse is this kind of virtual reality world that's being built. It's kind of funny because it's kind of like the cloud version of virtual reality. It's like the augmented virtual reality world that you're going to plug into. So he says, I don't particularly like the term metaverse, but it's become shorthand for a more immersive internet where you'll be able to work, play, socialize, and socialize on a persistent platform. Experts predict that the metaverse will add $5 trillion to the global economy in 2030, and in 2023, it looks to define the direction of the metaverse for the next decade. So what he's basically arguing here is 2023 is going to be the year where the metaverse is going to actually start to take shape. There's a lot of companies that are, obviously Meta kind of started the metaverse. Facebook bought a company called Oculus years ago. Oculus creates these VR headsets, and it was originally designed around gaming. And now, of course, Facebook changed their name to Meta, which is where the metaverse comes from, and they've been working on getting into this space. Microsoft and NVIDIA, of course, have started to get into it. NVIDIA has a lot invested in it because NVIDIA makes graphic processor chips. So the more kind of gaming and graphic processor intensive stuff there is out there, the more people are going to be buying their chips. So that's a big deal for them. So you've got some pretty big players that are working to expand this whole metaverse concept. He's saying we're going to see more advanced avatar technology in the new year. The avatar, which is kind of your virtual presence, will begin to engage with other users, and you'll be able to basically have a life in the metaverse. And a lot of things are going to be AI enabled, and you're going to be able to automate certain things that your avatar is going to do. And there's really going to be a whole new level of technology, a whole new level of culture that's going to be wrapped around this whole concept of the metaverse. Now, I do wonder, I'm in the camp where I wonder if the metaverse is actually ever going to really take over. They've been trying VR and augmented reality since I was a kid. They've been trying to do a virtual reality. I mean, it goes all the way back. There used to be TV shows about getting lost in virtual reality, and you kind of have that concept with The Matrix and some other movies and stuff back in the 90s. I mean, the whole idea of being lost in a simulation or virtual world or virtual reality, I mean, this is not brand new. And for years, companies have been trying to make the whole virtual reality world happen, and it's never really taken off, which really does surprise me. But our futurist here really thinks that this is going to be the future. This is going to actually really take off and begin to get mainstream in 2023, and he might be right. He might be right. I'm definitely not going to poo-poo the idea. I got an Oculus headset years ago when they first came out, and I've tried many of the other virtual reality things. I can see lots of practical application for it. Obviously, the games are spectacular, but there's also lots of learning environments where you could learn either hands-on or virtually attend a classroom or virtually visit a museum. There's lots and lots of immersive technologies that the metaverse enables. Again, I really hope that we don't stick with this name metaverse. I hope that we call it something better than that. But, like with a lot of naming things, once they get stuck in the popular imagination, they're just kind of stuck there. After all, we are stuck with the podcast today because they were originally delivered on iPods. iPods don't even exist anymore, but we're still calling the audio that we listen to a podcast. So there's a really good chance that we're going to be stuck with Metaverse. Maybe even after Meta, the company, goes out of business, we'll still call virtual reality the Metaverse. So I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see if that happens or not. On number 3, he talks about the progress in Web3. Web3 is basically using blockchain technologies for the decentralized distribution of products and services. So think about things like cryptocurrencies and NFTs and things like that, which are we've just scratched the surface of those technologies, and we've just scratched the surface of what they're capable of. One of the examples that he gives in the article, which is very interesting and really fascinating, is the whole idea of using blockchain to distribute data. So imagine the way that things are set up right now. If you go to Google, well, let's say you check your email. If you want to check your email, you connect to your email server, which is out there in the cloud, and then you request all of that email. The email's downloaded to your computer, or if you're in a web browser or something like that, then you're viewing it in your web browser, but it's still viewing it from a centralized location. It's accessing all that data. Well, what if we used blockchain to decentrally distribute all of that data so that little bits of your email is on my computer, little bits of your email is on a computer in Bangladesh, little bits of your email are on computers in California. So all over the world, not only computers, but devices and maybe even like IoT devices have little bits of storage here and there, so that it's all distributed all over the place. It's using blockchain and encryption to make sure that nobody can read it except for you. So then when you need to access it, it just goes and grabs all that data and puts it together for you. But it's not stored anywhere. It's stored everywhere. That's one of the ideas that might actually be a real possibility with Web3. And if that were to happen, that would really disrupt a lot of technologies right now. Lots of cloud and storage technologies are built around centralized locations, centralizing data. So if the centralization of data were to go away, that would really change things. Not only that, of course, you have your NFTs and you have your NFTs and your cryptocurrencies, and what would happen with like a mass decentralized distribution network would be that you would bring scarcity back into the world. The whole problem with monetizing digital assets is the fact that they can just be duplicated over and over and over again. The NFT concept made that scarce so that you can't have the original. Only one person can own the original so they can copy it, but there's still just one original. So then you put scarcity back into the digital world, which can then be monetized. And that's what's happening with cryptocurrencies and NFTs. So imagine that happening on a mass scale with Web3. And that looks like what he's talking about here primarily. It's, a little heady, may or may not happen. Who knows? I still don't think we truly understand what's going on with cryptocurrencies. I think that's one of those technologies that's going to be 20 years from now. We'll be able to really understand it as we look back. You got to remember, cryptocurrencies as they were supposed to be, like Bitcoin, was imagined as a way to pay for things, as a currency. But really, the way that they're treated is as an asset, something that you save and hoard and then borrow against or trade for another currency. So it's not treated as a currency at all. It's treated a lot closer to an asset. So what does that mean? And maybe in the future it will be treated as a currency, or maybe it's a different type of thing altogether that we still don't have our heads quite wrapped around. Who knows? I think the future will tell, but that's kind of what we're looking forward to in 2023. We're going to talk about some of the other things on his list tomorrow, and that was some pretty interesting stuff today with the Metaverse and with Web3. We'll see what happens with the blockchain technology and how things go. Until we go to a little bit more of a deep dive on some of these other topics tomorrow, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you then. Bye for now.